This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by Abigail13. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 over at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. Name that patron. We'll file and save project as SC147. Switchcraft episode 147 is also brought to you by the NES Archive. Come with me on my little journey through the North American NES library, one game at a time. I actually recorded an episode this morning, and I had to record it twice because I forgot to turn my microphone on the first time. Yep, that's the kind of thing I do. But don't worry, we did it the second time, and I think I probably even did a better job. So make sure that you head on over to youtube.com/runjumpstomp, and over there you'll see lots of other content, but you'll also see the NES archive, just my little piece of Nintendo history. So make sure that you guys check that out. Sponsor. Save. Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that, Vaxxer, that I forgot to hit turn on the mic. I mean, it happens quite often, actually. All right. Switchcraft is recorded live 3 times a week on Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and on Saturday at whatever time that I can actually get to it. Tune in live at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp, and you will be greeted by these fantastic people. Today we've got Bravd, Vaxxer, ZapDseed, Aerslea, Kimbalina66, Link31254, and Zornand. Thank you guys for hanging out with me while I record the show. Let's start with some feedback. I got an email from Jeremy. Jeremy said, just listened to the last podcast and had a couple of ideas to contribute. While Waluigi Lanes sounds awesome, and he's right, it does, because it was my idea, so there you go. How amazing would Bowling Story be? Just imagine if Sidebar Games, the people behind Golf Story, did a bowling alley sequel. I'd definitely play that game. Also, okay, so that's the first point, and I think that is a fantastic idea. And Sidebar Games, if you're not doing that, why not? That would be great. Bowling Story would be really, really fun, and I think that you could have a lot of fun with the whole bowling thing. Make sure that you have an appearance from the dude in there, and maybe some Donnie, and you're out of your element, Donnie. He goes on to say, also in regards to games I'd like to see brought to the Switch, how amazing would GoldenEye remaster for Switch be? I'm sure licensing would be a nightmare, but the inherent multiplayer aspect of the Switch could make this great as a party game as it was in the Nintendo 64 era. Keep up the great podcast. Well, thank you very much, Jeremy, for the email. As far as GoldenEye, when you talk about the inherent multiplayer aspects of the Switch, I often think of taking off the Joy-Con and just handing it to somebody. And, you're playing a 2-player game like that. And I know that the original GoldenEye only had one stick. And I know that people made it work where there was only one stick and then you aimed with the camera buttons. But I don't know that that would work in the day where we very often have a first-person shooter game that has 2 sticks. So I don't know that GoldenEye would really lend itself well to the share the joy, that, as Nintendo puts it. However, I do think bringing GoldenEye to the Switch would be a good idea, if for no other reason than because people really liked it. People really liked GoldenEye, and what I would actually prefer is, instead of like an updated version, I would just prefer that whenever we get the virtual console, if we get the virtual console, whenever that does or does not happen, if we had N64 ports, and of course GoldenEye was one of them, that would be really cool, and I would probably check it out, because GoldenEye was a game that I didn't pick up when the N64 was big. I never tried it, and nobody that I knew was really playing that game. So That's something that I missed out on, and I'd like to be able to check it out. I know that there's been updated versions, but I've never really wanted to check them out, and I think having it on the Switch would change my mind. We'll see, though. You never know. Sorry about that. All right, I'm back. You bowled a triplicate a couple of weeks ago. So exciting. Kimberlina, I don't know what a triplicate is. Well, Vaxer, bowling's kind of boring, but so is golf. And Golf Story was cool. So Bowling Story would be cool. I also received a DM on Twitter from, oh gosh, I can't even see who it was now. I missed it. But they said, hey there, I'm an avid listener of the show, and I was thinking of the question you asked everyone a while ago about games that I would like to see come to the Switch that no one else is talking about. And I finally thought of one. Game Dev Story by, and I don't know how to say this right. I think it's Caresoft. It's Kairsoft. They went on to talk about what the game is, and it's a mobile game. So it was a game that was on like phones and stuff, and it was really popular when it first came out on Android and iOS a couple of years ago. And I definitely think that this is the type of game that would fit well on the Switch. It's the kind of game where you always want to have it with you, so you can do another turn or just 3 more things when you have an extra couple of minutes. So I think it's a very good fit for the Switch, and I think that that's a great idea. So thank you for sending in that DM. Man. Three games with the same score each game. Oh, that's cool. Those are not likely to happen very often. This is feedback. And save. All right. Well, I guess what's been happening is people who have bought Bayonetta 2 for the Nintendo Switch, in order to get Bayonetta 1, it's actually a download code that's included in the box. And people who are doing that go to download the game, and some people are running into an issue where it says invalid code. Well, Nintendo has tweeted about this, and they said that you need to reach out to them. So it said, included with the purchase of a physical copy of Bayonetta 2 is a download code for Bayonetta 1. A small number of these codes were printed incorrectly. If you are experiencing issues, visit support.nintendo.com. We apologize for the inconvenience. So if you have been banging your head against something trying to figure out why is it that this code isn't working in order for me to get the other game that's supposed to come in this 2-pack, well, now you know. It just seems like they made a mistake, and they owned up to it. So it's good that they did that. Hopefully, everybody who bought the game is able to get their copy of Bayonetta 1. It would be a shame if you bought the copy and were like, well, I'm just gonna play Bayonetta 2. I already played Bayonetta 1. And, the code is just sitting there and you're playing it. And then, maybe 6-7 months later, you go to put it in and the code's gone. And, I think a lot of people might be like, oh man, I wonder if my code expired. And then they would just give up. So if you're listening to this and you bought Bayonetta 2 and you haven't already tried to claim your Bayonetta 1 code, try and claim it now, just to make sure that it works. And if it doesn't work, make sure that you contact Nintendo. Again, the website is support.nintendo.com. And they should get you all straightened out. I personally did not pick up Bayonetta 2 or Bayonetta 1. I've never played a Bayonetta game, and it's just something that doesn't really appeal to me. It looks like a button masher to me, where you've really got to have you got to know all these combos, and I'm pretty bad at those games. I think the only one that I really enjoyed was it was a Star Wars game where you were like Darth Vader's apprentice. I can't remember the name of the game, but I had a lot of fun with that game, even though it was a button masher. Now, I'm sure that Bayonetta 1 and 2 are both very good games. I've heard as such by a lot of people, but it's just not something that appeals to me, so I'm not going to be picking it up. But if you pick up Bayonetta 2 and you are really enjoying the game, please let me know. Well, or if you're not enjoying the game, please let me know what it is that you are, what you think of Bayonetta. Vaxer in chat says The Force Unleashed. Yes, that is the game that I was talking about. It's a button masher. That's the kind of game that Bayonetta looks like to me, and for the most part, I don't like those games. Yeah, so take that, Bayonetta. If you have Fire Emblem Warriors and you did not know, there is the Shadow Dragon DLC pack is now out. It includes new characters, 3 new characters from the Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon game. That's Nivare, Minerva, and Linde. There's new skills, new costumes, new history maps, new support conversations, new armor break models, and new weapons as well. So make sure that you pick that up if that's something that you are interested in. Myself, I haven't finished like the main part of the game yet, so I'm not going to be picking this up. But I really do enjoy that game. So once I do get through the main content, I probably will end up picking up the DLC for it because I think that it looks fun. And Fire Emblem Warriors is a game, like I streamed it a couple times, and I know that my chat didn't really care for what they were seeing when I was playing the game. They were like, I don't know about this, but I thought it was really fun, and I'm going to be playing it again. But right now, I've just got too many other games to play. But there you go, Fire Emblem Warriors Dragon DLC pack is now available. I know, Vaxer. You're the one I was talking about, man. I know you hate it. You hate everything. I'm just kidding. Let me stop for a sec. I gotta think. How did I do this? Yes, I need to add that to the show notes. Okay, I'll talk about it now and I'll add it to the show notes afterwards. So recently, I've played 2 games that are very similar in the way that they play. They are Super One More Jump was the first one that I played. It's kind of like an endless runner style game, although it's not randomized. The overall levels are crafted so that they are each one is different, and it's that kind of thing where it plays like an endless runner, but it's not actually endless because the game is actually handcrafted instead of being procedurally generated. The second one that I recently played was Atomic Run Gun Jump Gun, and I've got reviews for both of these games in the show notes that you guys can check out. But we've got another game that kind of goes into that category, and this is a category that I'm really starting to enjoy. And it's actually a sequel to a game that I've played before, and that is Runner 3. Runner 3 is this side-scrolling, it plays like a 2D game, but it looks like a 3D game. And you play, I think the guy's name is Captain Video, and you can like duck down and slide under stuff or jump over stuff. And more to the point of it being like an endless runner game, it feels like a rhythm game. Not Runner 3, because I haven't played that one yet, but it might. But the previous games in the Runner series, I have felt were a lot like rhythm games, because you're playing this endless runner style game, but you need to jump and slide to the beat of the music that is happening in the background. And I'm a big fan of the Runner series, so the exciting news that was posted on the 15th, it said, hey everyone, first of all, we apologize for how long it's been since our last blog post. We promise you all it's not for lack of trying. We've just been hard at work submitting Runner 3 to Nintendo, and it has now been submitted to Nintendo. So what does that mean? It means now Nintendo is going to test the game and confirm that it's suitable for release. Then they will be able to start that rolling and sending the physical edition to the game. So we now have confirmation that there's going to be a physical version of the game to the manufacturer for printing. So it's pretty close that we're going to be getting that game in our hands fairly soon. And if you like this style of game, I'm pretty sure that you're going to like Runner 3. I haven't played it, but I'll bet you that you can get Runner 2 fairly cheap. I don't think it's not on the Switch, but I'm sure you can get it on Steam or on PS4 or Xbox One. You might even be able to pick it up on the Wii U. I can't remember or not. But I think that they're very fun games that I've played in the past, and I like the addition of the rhythm element to the way that the game plays. It almost is like an assist function if you're listening to the music and you kind of start to get that beat, and you're hitting the jump and the slide buttons at exactly the right time and picking up the gold along the way. It's really a satisfying way to play. At least the previous ones have been, and I don't doubt that Runner 3 will be an exception, or will be an exceptional game as well. Sorry for my cough, guys. Okay. Let me just click on something real quick. Seattle, okay. I lost my place. All right, there we go. Well, if you live near Seattle, keep in mind the Emerald City Comic-Con is coming up, and Nintendo is going to have teams there who will be surprising people who are waiting in lines around the convention with the opportunity to play the new Kirby game, Kirby Star Allies, for Nintendo Switch. In handheld mode. So, they'll just walk up to somebody and they'll say, here you go. Why don't you try out our game? Which is really cool. I like that they're doing that. They also said something about if they see you like holding a door open for somebody or doing something nice, they'll give you some Kirby swag, which is cool, I guess. So they also said that they're going to have a booth there and you'll be able to play the game in TV mode, which I think that's how most people want to play. But the convention of Emerald City Comic-Con is starting on March 1st and ends on March 4th, and it's at the Washington State Convention Center. So make sure that you check that out if you're in the area, so that you can check out that game. I'm not super excited for the new Kirby game. I've never really been a fan of the Kirby games. Honestly, the first one that I ever played was Kirby's Epic Yarn. Like Kirby is just something that was always off my radar. It wasn't anything that I was ever excited about, anything that I found interesting. Took one look at it, looked at the art style and said, that's a game for kids. And when Kirby's Epic Yarn came out for the Wii, I was watching a podcast called The Totally Rad Show, and this was forever ago. And one of the hosts, Jeff Kanata, was going on, and he and I kind of share the same taste in video games, I felt like. So I was going to I was going to listen to him because he was going on and on about how much he loved Kirby's Epic Yarn. So I went to the store and I purchased the game and I put it in the Wii and I held the Wii remote sideways as you are to do, which is terrible. I hate the Wii remote sideways. And I played Kirby's Epic Yarn and I really did not have any fun. I was really disappointed in the game. And I haven't tried a Kirby game since. Now, I'm sure that there are lots of Kirby games out there that are good games. And I'm sure that there are a lot of fans of Kirby games. But for me, Kirby just wasn't interesting to me. Bravd in chat says the original Kirby on Game Boy was pretty hard. I never had a chance to check that out. So, maybe if Nintendo brings out the Game Boy, what was it? Classic, the Game Boy Classic, and Kirby is on there, I'll check it out and we'll see. But the Kirby games just don't appeal to me. And paying $60 for a game that I already kind of feel iffy on is pretty slim chance. So I don't think I'm going to be checking out that game. But if you are able to go to the Emerald City Comic Con and check out the Kirby game while you're there, feel free to write in and let me know what you think of the Kirby game, if it's something that I should be paying attention to or not. Oh my God, that cough. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to finish up the show with 3 trailers that were... Try that again. We're going to finish up the show by discussing 3 trailers that came out. The first one is I Am the Hero. It looks like a side-scrolling brawler game, but with a more fluid combat system, and I really like the art style, and it has like this weird, unique perspective, almost like you're looking like sideways down a hallway at the action. It's really weird. Make sure that you go to the show notes and click on the I Am the Hero link for the announcement trailer so that you can check it out, because it's really weird looking. I can't really find a good way to describe the weird perspective that they've got going on there. There was also a trailer for what looks to be a survival horror game. It comes out on February 22nd, which is not too far away. The game is called Hollow, and the game looks very scary. I'm not all about horror games on the Switch, though, because it's not that I can't play the Switch at home, but if this game is available on PS4, then I'll probably get it there, just because the PS4 will probably look better or at least have a higher frame rate, and I don't see myself playing a horror game portably. It just kind of takes you out of it. You want the biggest screen you can find, in my opinion. But that's Hollow for the Nintendo Switch, comes out on the 22nd. And then the third trailer that was another announcement game is Sydney Hunter and the Curse of the Mayan. It looks like it's a side-scrolling Metroidvania style game, which you know that I love me some Metroidvania style games. And it's coming out on Xbox One, PC, Switch, and PS4, so pretty much everywhere. And it's got very simple 8-bit style graphics. The character's got a whip and also has some other tools that they have access to. Make sure you watch that trailer because I think it looks really fun. I'm interested in Sydney Hunter and the Curse of the Mayan. What, the sequel, I Am Not Really the Hero? What? And finally, we've got 2 very important PSAs for you guys, public service announcements, and that is that we've got some Nintendo stuff that's on sale. You can go to Amazon and follow the link in the show notes because I'll get credit for you buying stuff through that link. But you can pick up a Nintendo Switch dock for $60, which is normally $80. If you've got more than one TV in the house, this is definitely something that you want to pick up, just because being able to take your Switch and plug it into any TV in the house without having to do anything is really great. We've got 2 TVs in my house, and luckily we've got 2 docks, which is very, very useful because sometimes I want to play on my big TV downstairs, and sometimes somebody else is using that TV, so I want to play upstairs in the bedroom. Either way, I've got a dock there, and I just drop the Switch in there, and I'm very happy. And $60 is well, I know that there's some controversy over whether or not the dock is worth the price that Nintendo is charging for it, but it's normally $80, and it's not like you can get it for less than that most of the time. So if you want one, then $60 is a pretty good price for it. The second public service announcement is another Nintendo item that is on sale, and this is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which is usually $70, and it is on sale for $50. So that's also a good deal, and that one is definitely a good deal. The Pro controller is one of my favorite controllers of all time. It's incredibly comfortable to use, and I am a big fan of it. For almost every game on the Switch, that's how I play. Now, there are some games that I prefer the Joy-Cons for, just because I like the D-pad on the Joy-Cons, but most people disagree with me on that. I also like the short throw of the left stick for certain games where they have a lot of directional based input and not a lot of 360-degree input, if that makes sense to you. But $50 for a Pro controller, that's a steal. So make sure that you follow the link in the show notes and pick those up at Amazon. I think they're also on sale at Walmart, but I don't know how long they're going to be on sale for, so get them while you can. We'll call that sale. All right. And let me just think for a second. That's awesome, Bravd. Okay. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. If there's a story that I missed or a topic that you would like discussed, please let me know by heading on over to Nope, that's not what I say. That's not what I say. See, I used to have this written for me, so I didn't have to remember it. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. If there's a story that I missed or a topic that you would like discussed, please be sure to let me know at one of the ways that I mentioned at the top of the show. If you're looking for ways to support the show, the best way is to just share the show with a friend. Just use your phone, send it to them. They'll have a little link. They click it, and they can subscribe. And, if you like the show, maybe they will too. If you're looking for other ways to support the show, head on over to runjumpstomp.com/support. And once you're there, you will find all the links that you need to help support the show. Some are free, some are not. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Big thanks to Tom Winter and Noteblock for the use of the music on the show. I really appreciate it. Make sure you head on over to their YouTube channels and subscribe to them, and tell them that you heard about them on my show. And of course, I'll see you next time, which will be on Tuesday. Bye-bye.